We can condemn the violence against the officers while investigating every allegation of excessive use by them. It must not become a choice between standing with police personnel who were injured and standing with the protesters who got beaten up black and blue. We can hear the police families without silencing the injured students. And let me remind you how the government seems to be amplifying this very specifically. This is not anti police, this is an equal accountability because if the police personnel were injured, those injuries must be acknowledged, documented, and investigated. Anyone who assaulted an officer should face the law. But the same seriousness must apply to students who say they were beaten, dragged, assaulted, and injured. Because one group's suffering cannot be used to erase the suffering of another. Remember this. Accountability is not a competition between victims, it means applying one law, one standard, and one level of scrutiny to everyone. Let me remind you. Because the families of injured police personnel have every right to speak publicly. They have every right to describe what their relatives suffered and the trauma their families experienced. Their right to be heard is not in dispute. The real test is whether the same access, urgency, and institutional attention will now be extended to everyone else who says they were injured. The police families' press conference quickly entered the national media and the political conversation. There are now demands that the injuries suffered by the police personnel be discussed in the parliament. Yeah, that is absolutely legitimate. But will the parliament also discuss the students who say they were injured? Will the same media organization give them a comparable space to speak? Will their families be heard with the same seriousness? Let me ask you this. Because the question is not why police families received a microphone, they deserved it. They deserve the opportunity to speak. The question is whether the microphone and the public credibility surrounding it will be extended equally to the other side of the barricade. Because one account can move rapidly from a press conference into a national conversation, and another may have to reach Jantar Mantar, document injuries on mobile phones, and protest simply to be acknowledged. And that difference does not automatically determine who is right, but it does shape who gets to be heard first, who is believed first, and whose pain receives immediate institutional recognition. So, yes, discuss the injured police personnel in the parliament, but also discuss the injured students as well. Hear the police families and hear the students and their families too. Condemn every assault on the officer and investigate every allegation of unlawful or excessive force. Preserve the complete footage, examine the medical evidence from all the sides, review the deployment orders and the excessive use of force, the instructions, and establish who assaulted whom, what force was authorized, whether the force actually used was lawful and proportional. The police personnel deserve justice, students deserve justice, and the justice begins when every injury is acknowledged, every allegation is investigated, and everyone is judged by the same standard.